Oh, lo. Hello, everyone. Today, I'm going to be sharing how to make billions on the strength of goodwill. On the strength of goodwill. What does goodwill mean and all? Would you be kind to just please share now? Let's go ahead and share. Call in one or two other persons to join us. Yes, call on one or two other persons to join us. This promises to be engaging and it promises to be great, honestly. Yes. Oh yes. Goodwill. What it is, and a smooth way to make money. To make money, and build reputation, and to achieve all. I apologize, there's been some technical here and there, for some 2 weeks now. But I'm hoping today we are crossing that challenge, and I'm expecting that we'll have a good time. Yes, so while I'm waiting for you to join, while you're being sensitized, I just want to also quickly put on the table what we've done in the last couple of weeks, how we moved from sharing on the need, to manage your work-life balance. We moved from that to the need to have support, and I've said if you have your work-life balance, you need people to support you, and from support, we started to speak to the need for networking, and how to network, why we should network, how to network. And from there, I also discussed the social capital, how to build your social capital. And we shared some experiences and all. Thank you, plus measurement for joining. Thank you. Right, thank you for joining. I'm just still waiting for others. We've had some slow in the last 2 weeks. Last week we couldn't hold, but it will be great. Others will join us. So I was just trying to tell us what has happened in the last couple of weeks, and we moved from social capital. And today I'm going to share something exciting. Thank you, son of Bridget. Thank you for joining. Yes, I'm going to share something really exciting with us today in the 30 minutes we have. And I'm just hoping that people are aware. I apologize if you're not aware of this, because we missed last week. I think we missed like 2 weeks. Yes, but okay, so it is what it is. Let me continue. Thank you for those who've joined, so that others will join us later. We have like a minute. Okay, I think we just have like a minute or two after 12:30. All right, so I want to discuss with us today goodwill. Goodwill. What is goodwill? Why should we build our goodwill? It's a terminology we use. Sometimes, I have to even go check it up. Sometimes it's goodwill. What is goodwill? I don't know. But it's a strong word. It's a strong word because, being a marketing, and I'm going to share some practical examples with us like I always do. Being a marketing person and having also experienced some things in life, I know what it is to talk about goodwill, the power and the strength of goodwill. When we say goodwill, what do we mean? Thank you, BC. Hi, thanks for joining, BC. Goodwill is the total feelings that we have towards an individual or a corporation, really. So it's similar to branding. Thank you, Grace. It's similar to branding. When we talk about brand equity. So it's actually the total feelings an individual has towards you, or towards an item, or towards a country, or towards something. So good, just like you talk about brand equity, which is an asset. Goodwill is like that. Hi, Anieti. So goodwill is your value, and value means negative and positive. Value means the variance. So value means you have assets, you have liabilities. When we remove liabilities from assets, something is left. What is left is your total value. It's exactly what it is with goodwill. So goodwill is the summation of the feelings that your life evokes with others. So when they see you, when people see you, what comes to mind? When people hear about you, what comes to mind? When they mention your name, what comes to mind? When somebody talks about you, because today I'm speaking about personal goodwill, much more, what comes to mind? That whatever comes to mind, most times, like I said, will carry its baggages. But at the end of the day, will be a net. The net. Is the net an asset or a liability? Is the net still good or the net is now negative? Which is why you just look at some people because you interacted with them before and they left you with a feeling. Sometimes it's not great. Sometimes what you heard about them is not great. So that perception, you carry it and it impacts their goodwill. And that's why you hear people say perception is reality. Because sometimes people don't have to experience you, but what they hear about you colors their own thoughts about you, and it just shapes how they see you. And that how they see you is so important to life and to everything you get from them or from people who are related to them. So it's very important that we speak about this point, and I will give you, like I said, I'll give you some very practical examples of goodwill. And so it's a quantifiable asset. I was so excited when I checked, just read up a bit more. And I realized that it's even an accounting concept. Goodwill is in accounting. Accounting gets goodwill. Hey, and I read one and I'm like, they say in accounting, goodwill has 2 legs. They said there's purchased goodwill and inherent goodwill. Purchased goodwill and inherent goodwill. Which means an inherent, something that is inherent means is what you have, is what is in you. When it's purchased, it means you have to acquire it, isn't it? So, and I don't know, I can't get into the details. I'm not an accounting person, but I just kind of translated that to what I want to discuss. To say, when something is inherent, it means it's who you are, it's what you do, it's your nature, it's your bread and butter. When it is purchased, it means you are intentional, you go out to acquire it. We can explain that from accounting perspective. We can put it to our reality. Goodwill, what it is. They say somebody has somebody has strong goodwill, or somebody has bad goodwill, or weak goodwill. We may not even say it, but the way we relate to people is on the strength of the goodwill they carry to us, or what our perception of their goodwill is. It's still looking like I'm talking theory, isn't it? Don't worry, I'm coming. I'm going to soon bring it down. I'm soon going to bring it down. So let me share this story. I think the story will make sense at this point in time. Thanks, Tayo. I used to have a mentor, and I still have him as a mentor and a role model. And it's a good example of what goodwill can do. And that's why I say you can make billions from goodwill. Billions from goodwill. Pastor Norwa, God bless you, sir. This man, I was an account director, like a head of department in an advertising agency those years. And this man was a managing director of a business. He was managing director of a multinational business in Nigeria. He was so professional. He was so good that people respected him. He wasn't a John. He was just a professional manager who just wanted that business to come to the globe, to be reckoned with as a great business that made Nigeria proud. So he followed that track so well. He wasn't involved in politics. He wasn't playing politics. Organizational, remember he was the managing director of that business. So at some point, that company globally had to merge with another organization. And I was aware, I knew both companies. When that process was ongoing, there was a lot of politicking. It was huge. But remember, this my person, my mentor, this man wasn't a politician. He didn't play that. And trust me, whether international or anywhere, politics is part of the game. Politics is a means. It's a legitimate means. It's just that sometimes we play it wrongly. It's a methodology. Yes. So he couldn't play that. What did you think happened? They edged him out, painfully, tearfully. It was annoying because this man stood for so much strength, stood for so much wisdom, stood for so much, credibility, value integrity, and all of that, and intelligence, turnaround director, and all of that. But they edged him out. The other people could play the politics internationally and locally. They edged him out. Someday we'll discuss how to ensure you are not edged out. Someday we will, especially if you are value oriented. What do you think happened? So this man, he didn't plan for it. He had thought that because it was an international business, international organization, he was so sure based on his own integrity and his reputation that he was going to get a space. At the end of the day, politics put him to like maybe number 2, whereas he had thought he was going to be number 1 in the new system. So he couldn't see himself like reporting to the number 1 person that politics had made his head. Guess what? Of course, he resigned. But he wasn't thinking of leaving at that point in time. And please take note, my brother, my sister, whoever you are listening to me, because this is for career people, it's for business people, it's for life people generally, that you must be careful, because sometimes the unexpected does happen. Yes. So the unexpected happened to this man. He had to resign. You can imagine resign the career you built for like close to 30-something years. And you've worked all around the world. You had to resign. So he resigned. Guess what happened? Now I'm speaking to the power of goodwill. Do you know what happened? You know, like I said, I was an agency. We were working for, my agency had a business. We're doing business with that organization. Do you know that some of the people who were like vendors to him, vendors, suppliers, external people by themselves, call themselves, as in, they're like, what? Politics has put this man out of this role. Now he has resigned. Wow. They rallied around themselves and they called themselves together and they said, what can we do for this man? He's too intelligent. His goodwill is so strong for him to just resign and stay at home. What? No, not that brain, not that integrity, not that knowledge, not that whatever, those things, those attributes were in him. Your guess is as good as mine. They sat together, I mean the suppliers, because those ones had money. Remember, they had money. And they decided to say, one thing we can do for this man is, on the strength of his goodwill, we are going to have a meeting with him. I think 3 or 4 of them had a meeting with him. He was shocked at that meeting because he wasn't expecting them to come. You remember, these were just suppliers. These were vendors. I mean, suppliers, somebody, maybe the advertising agency, the supplier of, printed materials, whatever. I mean, they had a meeting with him. And the one thing they told him was, Mr. So, you have come through like a thorough professional. Your goodwill, the strength of your reputation is so strong that we have come together. We know that you ran this business, your previous business, most professionally that. And we also know what has happened. We know how somehow you've been edged out. But we want to say, please, we give you so time. We give you time. Think about it. Anything, any business you want to do in this nation or outside this nation, whatever it is you want to do next, trust us, we will fund it. We are with you. We are going to be with you in it 100%, whatever. Can I shock you? Incidentally, because he's a very intelligent man who also was very professional and all of that, he had seen a window as a corporate individual. He had seen a gap in the media space in Nigeria. Just about 15, 20 years ago. He had seen a gap. Being a managing director, there were some questions he was asking and there was no data to back it up. There was no scrutiny in some areas. And media is a very huge area where budget goes, where advertising budget goes. Anyway, he had seen a professional gap. He told himself, this is a gap I would like to block for the industry. I would like to put my footprint here and bring a solution that will help close this gap, because it doesn't happen like this in other markets. It doesn't happen like this in America, in whatever. Remember, he was very exposed. So he began to say, how can we bring data to the measurements? How can we take media management, media operation, media being strategic to marketing? How can we take it forward? Ladies and gentlemen, he collaborated with a few companies outside of Nigeria, and they were the first to bring in some mega aspect of media management to Nigeria. It was a game changer when they started. Hello? It was what? A game changer. And by the reason of that innovation that he brought into the media space, which he didn't have money to pursue at all, only his goodwill and head, brain, the suppliers and these other people who are like, you know, who had seen him, who were like his, what do you call it now, funders, they funded it and they set up a group of company. If I mention the name, you will know. If you are in the industry, advertising industry in Nigeria, you will know who I'm talking about now. You will just know. And they set up a group and they launched a media independent agency. And they brought research, data, and they changed the landscape. Don't talk about the kind of money they've made in that business. Don't even get there. All right. His life, what he couldn't even do as managing director of a multinational, he started doing it. Remember, we are close to him. He's a big brother. He's a mentor to me and a family friend to us. A big brother at that. What brought him there? It was goodwill. Now, goodwill brought him there. How? Because, let me now go back to the accounting concept and get to explain what goodwill is, and we'll be fine for today. Meaning that everything you do today, how you relate with people, how you use your position, your office, who you are, is adding something or removing something from you. This is not religion. This is not church. This is not mosque. This is just talking about who you are. And like I said, accounting says there is goodwill. And in accounting goodwill, let me increase my AC. Okay, I'm in the car. In accounting, they say there are two types of goodwill in accounting. They say one is purchase goodwill and the other is inherent goodwill. So let me speak to my own understanding now. I'm not doing accounting, but just using this, generally speaking, to say how we can relate it. Inherent goodwill will be, it can be in two legs as well. Inherent in your organization where you work, because every organization has its own asset valuation, not financial, but by perception, by what people think. So if you're in a business, you're running an SME business or you're in a corporation, when we mention the name of your organization, if I talk about banks and I say GT Bank, what comes to mind? I say Standard Chartered. I said Fidelity Bank. I say what? Wema Bank. For all of those four I've mentioned, something is coming to your head, if you understand financial space, about them. If I say something is clicking in your head. That is the perception you hold about them. That is the imagery they connote to you. Same thing as you. If I mention your name, Joke, Bisi, Hannah, Binkwe, Shino, Kunle, John, Mark, something comes to people's mind. Who are you? So the inherent is what people have known about you, what they've heard about you, what they've experienced about you, what they've seen you write about, what seen you post about, the cumulative impression, cumulative associations of feelings and thought they have about you, whether positive or negative. They will also balance it. Positive is plenty, negative is small. They will equate it. The balance is still, you are still strong. Negative is small, positive is small. You are a bad person. That is it. That is your goodwill to them. So organizationally or personally, that is inherent. And that is seated on your values, what you believe in, the things you do, okay? Who are you? Your nature, your nurture, your beliefs, your perception. All of these things impact even because it's related to your social capital. And that will relate to who and who can network with you in life and what you can get. So by reason of this, yes, BC says bad customer service. You see? So I'm sure as I mentioned some of those banks in your head, some of them is bad customer service. This one are ethnic, what's the word? Ethnic group. This one are this one. It's already there. That means when you put it there, it means that their goodwill is poor. It's not so great. Okay. So that's inherent. Now, purchased goodwill is the one that you intentionally go out of your way to do. And this is where I want to sit down, my dear brothers and sisters. Purchase means you are intentional about it. When you are purchasing something, you are giving out something to get something. Yes. When you're building social capital, it's a way of purchasing your goodwill. What do I mean? Remember, I've been talking about, you see me, I do some socials. Recently, my friend and I, BC baby, we went for one big program. We're dancing, we did all of that. If you value certain relationships, what you will do, you will make investment in them, in developing them, in cultivating them. And as you are doing that, you are enhancing your goodwill in those social sectors. Are you following me? That's what happens. When you make sacrifices for people, when you go the extra length, thank you, Sandra. Do you understand? When you make investments, and I know some investment too. I know people who travel from here to Maiduguri to just go and follow, you know, who will just follow somebody to like Maiduguri to go and do that. PC says, I'm just learning that. Baby, you know, we are together. Before I used to think that Ashwebi, hello. Ashwebi is bad, as in is very bad. In fact, as a family, my husband and I from day one, we say we don't do Ashwebi, and my husband, I think, is still here. Hey, Bobo, God bless you, Papa. You know. So we say Ashwebi, we don't do. Again, we were pastors, and at that point, it's no, we don't do. We can't even go if it's not convenient. Yes, antisocial. Yeah. We didn't know that we were losing. No, we were losing. Am I saying we should now start doing all Ashwebis? No. I'm saying you don't have to do Ashwebi to attend party or to show to show concern with someone, to felicitate with someone, to make a sacrifice. And if you didn't listen to my story, I think it was the 4th or 5th one where I talked about the blunder I made. Go and listen to it. How I lost a very important network that would have done me so well in life because I commonized it that what? I can't fly to come to Benin for what? Your papa died and so waiting now. That's what. Unfortunately, it cost me, and I look back and like, wow. Papa has come. He said, he that diligently seek good now scripture. I'm sure. He that the teacher of the word, he that diligently seek good procure favor. It's true. When the Bible says gift makes way for people, and that gift doesn't have to be physical gift. It can be the gift of your time, the gift of your energy, the gift of your effort, the gift of your contribution. All of these things make way for you. Yes. When you deferred benefit. When you support others, you're doing something to yourself. Even though you think, I'm just laboring for them. No. You're doing something to yourself. You're lacing, you're adding on your asset. You don't know. The day it will pay back, you'll be shocked. Let me tell you another story. This is my own personal story. You know, I was marketing director for a multinational organization. And as a marketing person, you are in charge of the budget. As in, budget means now you talk, now you will approve how we will spend the money. Are we doing billboard? Are we doing that? Waiting, we'll put that money on. And at some point, my budget was $1 billion. Over $1 billion. This was over 10 years ago. Over $1 billion naira. Hello. And at that point, there were some suppliers that were making hundreds of millions from that table. I didn't even know them. I don't know them for face. I don't know them. All I know is they do good jobs. And because they do good jobs, once their invoice comes, my team has negotiated with them. They've done everything. I do what? I just sign it, and that's what it is. So one day, I entered into the marketing department. And those days, the marketing team, they sat together. All of them would be in one room, and I can't remember what I was going to do there. And I entered. I was just hearing, obviously some of these suppliers were with the managers. And I was hearing, shh. And one of my marketing managers, unfortunately he's late now, we thank God for his life, you know. I was hearing my name, I was hearing marketing director. I'm like, what's that? Oh, and the man now said, and that manager then said, Hecho, he says he wanted to meet you. He was confirming that he's that the marketing director. This was one of our prime most suppliers, and I didn't know him. I just know his company's name. I know they do good jobs, and that's fine. Oh, so the man came and said, oh, how are you, ma? Oh, good to meet you. I'm like, good to meet you, sir. And that was it. Let me tell you. After I left GSK, I mentioned the name of the company now, which is where I worked. You know, when I say I've worked in 2 major multinationals, maybe 3 by extension. Anyway, when I left, a friend of mine needed something. And I got to know that that man could give us. And I looked. I didn't have his number. Somebody gave his number. And I called him. Or I sent him. I think I sent him a message. And He replied immediately and said, whatever you want, madam, please just come. Anything you want, I will give. Anything. I remember I had to go with that friend to his office and all. The kind of, not just the welcoming we get, everything I wanted, that my friend wanted, he gave us. And so by God's grace, sometimes when my team, when we're looking for somebody or we need to meet somebody or my team will say, who does Hannah not know? They will say, hey Joe, you know everybody in the world. I'm like, I don't know everybody, but I know quite a number of people. But there is, if I want anything from anyone, except it's not possible or it's not realistic or the time cannot make them, I know they will stretch because I have paid the dues and I'm still trying to pay the dues by God's grace. I'm not perfect. So what I'm saying is your goodwill can procure you billions. The business I'm doing today is on the strength of goodwill. Goodwill. What they know about you. By the time I went to him to say, oh, I think we can do this together. When I go to people to say, look, I think we can do, the first thing that they say is, that will be good. Let's look at it, if it can work. So they are very open to you first and foremost because your goodwill has opened the field for them first, knowing that your integrity, they know that people speak well about you. Of course, there are people who speak bad about you. It's not 100%. But plus or minus, the net is that your values are strong. People speak well about you. Historically and even currently, they have good words about you. Your attitude, your behavior. Are you with me? So what are the things you should do to ensure that you get it really right? When you're on a roll, this one is very important. When you are doing a job now, they are paying you to do the job. You are being paid to do the job. Don't make it another pipe to frustrate people, to pay you extra to do what you're supposed to do. Do that. The job is paying you salary, excuse me. Why then must you frustrate others until they give you extra things? Because that thing you're doing is taking away from your goodwill. It's removing. You don't know. Because you're going to leave that road tomorrow. And sometimes, when you are good on the roll, the people you are good to on that role are the people who put you on another scale. They'll get you another job somewhere because you're good to them. A guy once came to me. He wanted to get a job. I was interviewing then. And I couldn't do that. I couldn't give him that job because he didn't quite qualify for that level. And he also felt that the lower level was too low for him. So he left. But he maintained contact with me. He was a great guy. He was given to what he needed to do. He was doing all that. Guess what? A few years later, 1 or 2 years later, there was an opportunity somewhere. Me, I'm the one who went out for him and said, I said, I know somebody who can do this. And they brought him to be a GM in that company, which he did. So don't use your role, your current position to frustrate others. Focus on your deliverables. Do it well. Like I shared, if you didn't listen from the beginning, please, after this, go listen to it again. All right? I share about my mentor who was very brilliant, who has strong goodwill, who, when organization did politics and they poached him out, kind of, more or less, they frustrated him to leave. Other people came and say, we will fund it. Waiting you won't do. And today, he leads, and his name is gone to the annal. You can't talk about marketing, communications. You can't talk about media in Nigeria, in Africa, without mentioning the name of his company. And even after he dies, I'm sure. Because they just changed the game. They brought the change to Nigeria on the strength of goodwill. What he couldn't procure, billions and billions, I'm sure, people funded because of goodwill that he has, okay? Always remember, number 3, that there is tomorrow. There is a tomorrow. If you're using your current position or role or office, you may be a pastor and you are using your position as a pastor to mess up people. I'm sorry. Or you are an imam. Local government chairman. You are in political office. You are the head of service. You are the head of this. You are the permanent secretary. And you're using that role to frustrate people, to bamboozle them. Are you with me? There's always tomorrow. You leave that role. Once you have taken all the benefits on the role, and you are even gone for to take additional benefits from the role, you don't have any goodwill anymore. It's gone. You've already enjoyed it. When you leave that role, you are stark naked. Nothing more because you benefited already. Okay? You must be, number 4, you must be considerate. On any role you've taken, on any job you're doing, be considerate. Remember, you're dealing with human beings. Like I keep saying, make deliberate investment in those relationships. And we have a few more minutes to go. Don't frustrate others. Don't use your position to oppress them. Don't cheat. Don't strangulate. Don't strangulate people. Don't even put up. Let's rise up as a team to begin to say no and speak up against processes that strangulate, that mess us up as a nation. I don't know. I'm veering here. Because I remember I was trying to open a corporate account with a particular bank. Not with one bank. It's the same process for all. And they say there's one thing. It's called Schoolmail. SCULM. Schoolmail, or if you are in finance, whatever, you know, Schoolmail, whatever it was. Do you know that ideally that thing should be free? But you know what? From the government processes, for free for waiting, you know, free. And you can't receive money. You can't transact business until you get that certificate. Do you know what? So they now said, for you to get it, the bank will now advise you to say there are project officers or there are special agencies that can help you activate it and make it fast. What do? You have to pay them. When you pay them, is the agency a structure of human beings? Human beings make up the agencies now. So if you are the head of that kind of agency, it means that you are part of those that are putting the clock in the wheel to ensure that it's not smooth so that people can begin to give you money. It's bad. If you are doing that kind of thing, forget it. Your reputation is being damaged. You don't have goodwill. And that's why sometimes when people leave a role and they leave a function and they come outside into the marketplace, generally now, they'll be wanting to say, this person is not supporting, it's not supporting. It's not supporting because everything should have supported you with, you took it by force when you were on that role. You were telling him, if you don't put 2 million on it, forget it. Just put 3 million on it for me. The person will put it on it because he wants to survive. You put it for you now. You collect the money. It's your goodwill. It's living. When you leave that office, we shut you out. Nothing more. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for joining me today. What have we discussed? Just to summarize it, we've talked about goodwill. And remember, we started from talking about work-life balance. You need to have work-life balance. And we moved from there to say, for you to have work-life balance, you need people to support you. But for you to be supported, you need relationships. For you to have relationships, you need to understand what it means. Social gravitas, social capital, how to network. We worked all of that. And today, we're concluding by speaking on goodwill. To say, look, goodwill is an intangible asset, but it's also tangible. We can calculate it. We know what it is. It's a net benefit, of what your name, your presence, your personality evoke to people, whether it's positive or negative. And we say that goodwill is so measurable and immeasurable, and it can be so large that you don't even know how else to talk about it. What will make somebody leave one place and fly to another place? Let me round up finally by saying, I remember there was somebody I wanted. This person is a big person in the society, big. And the person just liked me. Somebody who is another respected person brought me into this person's space. And this person just was very warm towards me. This person now had something to do outside of Nigeria. Do you know what? I looked for the money and I attended. My God. They were like, what? You came? And that trip, that investment in that trip and time was just a 2-day thing. I went outside Nigeria. I went one day. By the 3rd day, I came back and all. It cemented. It's like, wow. You did this for us. And it just took relationship elsewhere. So what is your goodwill like? Yes, take it further. Deepen it every day. Add to it. And you will be good for it. Thank you very much for joining me. If it makes sense, please share it. And if you're not following me, please go ahead and do that. Follow me on Instagram. And every Thursday, we have this 12:30 to 1 p.m. And it is 1 p.m. Thank you very much. Thank you and do have a good day. Thank you, Anita. Thank you for joining. Thank you, BC. Thank you, everyone on the line. You do have a good week and enjoy the weekend. And remember, add to your social capital. There's something to do this weekend. Come on, shake your body. Go there and dance with them and enjoy with them. Okay, it makes sense to do all of that. It's part of life too. Thank you and bye.